Inquire the art of heart-to-heart conversations with subordinates. Oftentimes, subordinates' poor performance is not due to lack of ability, but rather emotional or mental issues that affect their state of mind. As a superior, it is not enough to solely focus on visible KPI numbers or evaluate their abilities. You must also learn to guide their emotions, which is commonly referred to as heart-to-heart conversations. Of course, when I say heart-to-heart, I am not referring to the annual formal work review or a serious ideological report. Nor is it about subordinates coming to you for a shoulder to cry on or seeking psychological comfort. It is a two-way communication aimed at helping subordinates resolve psychological interference. Effective feedback comes from asking the right questions. This type of conversation also requires skill. In this lecture, I will share with you a set of techniques for having effective heart-to-heart conversations with subordinates by asking the right questions. We often say that we need to learn to listen. However, it is more important to learn to ask questions, because only by asking the right questions can we obtain effective feedback. Let me give you an example. When I was first promoted to manager, one of my subordinates came to me and my sales director, saying that he wanted to resign. At the time, I had no experience. The young man had just graduated and joined our company for a year, and his performance was good. My initial reaction was to try to persuade him to stay. So, I immediately went into a mode of reasoning and told him how great our company was and how well he was doing. I even mentioned that he was close to a promotion and pay raise. However, he didn't seem to be moved by my words. I could tell that he was just being polite and listening out of courtesy. Then, the sales director asked, "Why do you want to resign? Did something happen?" The young man replied, "I feel like my current job is all about execution. Our company is so big, and there are so many details. I graduated from a prestigious university, and joining this company was a great opportunity. But I feel like my work is too trivial. It seems like anyone who can read can do it." He continued to vent, and the sales director listened attentively, nodding from time to time. Then, he asked the second question. "What is your career plan?" The young man answered confidently, "I am interested in grasping the strategic and macro direction. I hope to become a CEO of a company in the future, to have control over the big picture, rather than dealing with trivial matters." He then continued to talk about his future plans for about 10 minutes. At that time, I thought to myself that the young man had quite a big heart. However, I saw that the sales director was always listening attentively, so I refrained from rebutting. Then, the director asked, "Suppose you are the CEO now, what core competencies do you think a good CEO needs?" The young man listed several outstanding CEOs. At this point, he admitted that he realized that the outstanding examples he cited were either very detail-oriented about the product or had strong execution skills in management. Finally, the sales director asked, "If you also want to become such a person, what do you think you can learn from our company?" The young man then turned the corner and replied, "I think I haven't learned how our company executes strategy from formulation to implementation in every step." You see, this is the power of asking questions. You ask questions instead of giving opinions. Allowing subordinates to find their own answers is much more effective than telling them what to do. So, are there any techniques for asking questions? Of course, there are. I have summarized 5 types of questioning sentences. The next time you have a heart-to-heart conversation with a subordinate, you can easily control the conversation by using these 5 questioning sentences. These 5 sentence structures are: What happened? What do you think? What have you tried? What help do you need? Is there anything else? Of course, when having a heart-to-heart conversation with a subordinate, you cannot mechanically throw out these questions. You need to respond purposefully, and even follow up with further questions. Let me explain each question and its underlying considerations. The first questioning sentence is, "What happened?" Often, when subordinates encounter something, they panic and cannot report the key points clearly. As a superior, your question, "What happened?" first calms the subordinate's mind. Through this question, you need to let the subordinate explain the cause, process, and result of the matter. Here, you need to pay special attention to confirming the truthfulness and accuracy of the information. For example, when a subordinate says that a customer has a certain viewpoint on something, you need to have them repeat the customer's exact words. Similarly, when a subordinate uses words like many or serious, you need to have them provide specific reference points or quantities. In short, you need to ensure that the information you receive is as objective as possible. Knowing what happened is just the background information. You cannot immediately give advice to the subordinate. At this point, you need to ask, "What do you think?" This questioning sentence helps you diagnose the subordinate's psychological interference and guides them to think independently and analyze the problem. At the same time, it makes them feel that their opinions are valued. When your subordinates are unable to come up with better ideas, it's time to ask the next question. What methods have you tried? People tend to be lazy and accustomed to being passive. They follow orders from their superiors, and if they make mistakes, their superiors will take the blame. By asking, "What methods have you tried?" you make your subordinates aware of their responsibility for the matter. Of course, this question can also help you gather more information. Now that you know what happened and have heard your subordinates' thoughts, as well as the methods they have tried, you can ask, "What help do you need?" Subordinates often have a habit of finding excuses for failure, but as a superior, you need to teach them to think the other way around and find resources for success. You can ask, "What support and resources do you need to achieve your goals?" In some cases, subordinates may get caught up in specific details, and your role is to pull them out and look at the big picture. What seems like a huge problem to them may be something that can be solved with just one phone call from your perspective. The last question is, "Anything else?" This question should be asked after your subordinate has finished speaking each time. Sometimes, at the moment when they hesitate to speak, a simple, "Anything else?" from you can prompt them to say what they want to say. In short, wait until they have said everything they want to say before moving on to the next question. When talking to subordinates, there are 3 things to keep in mind. First, pay attention to the atmosphere. After all, you are having a heart-to-heart conversation, not an interrogation. You can repeat what they said and then ask another question. Second, maintain curiosity and avoid making judgments too early. As a superior, you are often helping your subordinates find answers, not giving them your own answers. Third, the output of the conversation should be action and results. Encourage your subordinates to speak freely, but after the conversation, there must be a next step action plan, and you must follow up to ensure that they do it. This type of questioning communication is actually called coaching skills, which is like being a coach for your team, helping your subordinates grow by guiding them to find answers and then letting them solve problems on their own. If you are interested, you can learn more about it. Generally speaking, mastering these 5 questions is enough for daily work.